Why reading stories is one of the best ways of learning English. Have you ever seen a documentary or read a novel that left an indelible impression on you? Learning English through story is a fulfilling study method for several reasons. Get started and you'll wonder why you never tried it before. Take them at your own pace. Reading stories is one of the most relaxing ways to learn English. That's because you can control how fast you want to take in the information you're studying. You can reread, skip, or stop and check sentences at your leisure. You could even try using audiobooks if you enjoy them. This can be an excellent way to practice your English listening skills and pick up vocabulary on the go. However, bear in mind that when practicing your listening skills, it's more difficult to control how fast the speaker is talking. Even if you can in the case of a YouTube video or a podcast, for instance, it can interrupt the flow of the experience. Writing and speaking are trickier skills to master than listening for most ESL learners. They involve knowing enough English to produce whole sentences yourself. Reading is the only core skill that allows you to use English at the most comfortable pace for you. Make fast progress. Most adult learners find reading to be the easiest of the 4 language skills to pick up, and it's not just because it's self-paced. It's also because reading in a second language is pretty close to reading something difficult in your first language. If you don't know a word in a difficult sentence in your first language, you can usually work it out from context. It's a natural way for adults to pick up new words in any language. Learning a language is immensely rewarding, but undeniably difficult. It's normal to feel like your progress is moving too slowly. When you're feeling frustrated, try reading some English stories. Commit to half an hour of reading English stories every day, and in no time at all you'll be able to understand whole paragraphs with ease. It's a beautiful feeling when this starts to happen. No pausing, no translating in your head, just smooth comprehension. See grammar in action. One awesome side effect of improving your English reading skills, your grammar will improve too. These days, language teachers often advise learners not to obsess over grammatical rules. The theory is that if learners get enough exposure to the language in its natural forms, they will absorb the rules naturally. Of course, when we were young, we engaged with a language through fairy tales, myths, and more. Read a lot of English stories, and you'll get the chance to learn English grammar in a more organic way. You'll see the patterns you have studied in action, and things will start to click fast. When we spoke to story learning creator Ollie Richards about how to learn a language fast, he told us, if you listen to or read a good story, then the part of your brain associated with an emotion will light up, as if you're experiencing it yourself. What that means is you're involving your entire brain in the process. If you're studying grammar, you're using just one part of your brain, but when you learn through stories, you're activating many different parts of your brain. That's when synapses form new connections, and that's when memory is formed. Expand your vocabulary. Reading stories is one of the best ways to absorb new English words. When you discover new words within a story, you get a chance to learn them in context. Often, you'll have an aha moment when you work out what a new word means without needing to look it up, by spotting the clues in the sentence around it. Because your brain worked a little harder to find the meaning of this word than just by checking a dictionary, it is more likely to stick in your brain. You'll also be more sensitive to the subtleties of how this word is used, which means you're more likely to use it correctly yourself. It's more interesting than using flashcards and immeasurably more effective. Enjoy English in its most beautiful form. When people speak of the richness of the English language, they mean the English language as it is used in stories. When spoken, English is used in its simplest form. Grammatical rules are recklessly broken, and words are usually chosen based on the simplest one that will do, rather than the most specific option. The writing in English stories is closer to the English you've studied in grammar exercises. The vocabulary is usually more artistic too. Writers spend time reflecting on the right words to use, considering subtle shades of meaning. If you're studying English as a language lover as well as for more practical reasons, reading stories will be really rewarding. Short stories with morals go beyond generating a feeling of attachment by allowing the audience to empathize with the story regardless of where they are in life, making them more open to education. One of the most effective methods to advise, educate, and motivate people is through stories. According to studies, tales that convey a moral or convey principles can improve beneficial behavior in both kids and adults.